What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room, episode 295. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Welcome to the War Room, where we have been getting together since March 14th of 2020, and we have seen a lot of crazy things happen here in the War Room. We rode out the pandemic 80 nights in a row. We launched MistressCarrie.com. We launched the Mistress Carrie podcast. I announced that I was back on the radio at multiple places. We have gone through sicknesses, deaths, births of children. We've literally been through it all, and it's election night in the United States. It's also National Donut Day. So hopefully you voted today, and also hopefully you celebrated with donuts today as well. Alexis and Carol joining us in the War Room. Also Stephen and Elsa, Eric and Ash. Bish is here. Deborah on Instagram. Also, DZ Dean says, miss you. Why are you missing me? I'm right here. What is going on over here? For anybody that's new to the War Room, by the way, I have co-hosts. You may not have been introduced to them as of yet, but they're here. Come over here, girls. And they voted today. They cast their ballot the way we do in this family all of the time. You can vote for the donkey, you can vote for the elephant, or you can, in this house, vote for the dog. Friday, Wednesday, come here. Come over here. Say hi to everyone. Say hi. So normally, for the longest time, Wednesday was my co-host here in the War Room. That's where you can find her on Instagram. But the new addition to the house, which was a month yesterday since we got her, welcome Friday to the show as well. She's going to be 5 months old later this week, which is kind of crazy. So the co-hosts are here in the studio. They're a little bit wound up as well. I just took them out and ran them around a little bit to try and get some of the pug zoomies out. Yes, pugs get the zoomies. These two get them big time. And they're tossing their toys all over the place everywhere. Do you want to have... Here, have a beer Friday. Maybe that'll mellow you out. Do you want a beer? What's that? Yeah, that's a lager. You want that one? So we got to welcome everybody watching on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. Christina and Lisa are here. Rob and Jason. Everybody is stressed in the United States right now, probably drunk, which is a good thing you're hanging out with us here in the War Room. Hello, Travis and Christine. Kim is joining us. Bruins down 2-0 in the second, says Bish. Thank you very much for that update. Tonight, we're going to find out which half of the country is upset, because it doesn't matter what the outcome of this election is today. Half the country is going to be upset. I hope you voted. I voted today, but they didn't have stickers, which I was kind of bummed out about. I went to go and vote. They upgraded all the voting equipment, and the nice little old lady that was one of the election workers is a friend of my mom's. And so the first thing she did was kind of ask how my mom was doing as she was checking me in, and I was getting ready to vote. And then she was like, you're not registered. And this election is so stressful that I was like, immediately like, the fuck I'm not, in my head. I didn't say that out loud, but I was like, really though? I'm not. And so then one of the other election workers came over, and I was like, are you sure? And they were like, check the address again and put the last name in there again. And they're like, wait, didn't you get married? Is your last name different? Come to find out, she was spelling Carrie wrong. She carried me. And that's why she couldn't find me. So once she actually spelled my name right, she was like, oh, there you are. Here's your ballots, whatever. Depending on where you're watching from, the ballot questions, there are a lot of people that don't think that their vote counts on a national level, even though that's foolish, especially after the 2000 election and the hanging chads in Florida. And it was 200 and something votes that changed the election. But the ballot initiatives and the local elections 100% affect where you live. And there are some pretty interesting ballot questions in Massachusetts, including legalizing some psychedelics was on the ballot. Also, raising the minimum wage for tipped workers like bartenders and waitresses. There was also the ability for ride share drivers to be able to unionize. So there was getting rid of the MCAS, which is the standardized test for students. So there were some interesting ballot initiatives. David said voted. Michelle says hi from rehab, physical rehab, not drug and alcohol rehab. Although that would be okay too. Hi, Michelle. I hope you're feeling better. Bish says we are all going to hell in a handbasket either way. Christina says early voted. So I tried to vote yesterday, not realizing that early voting in my town ended on Friday afternoon. Because I really wanted to avoid going to the polls today because I just thought it was going to be a shit show. I was pleasantly surprised. I got right in, got checked in once they spelled my name right. Things were fine. Voted without issue and had to wait maybe 3 to 4 minutes to be able to put my ballot in the machine. Otherwise, I had no issues at all. I was really worried that it was going to be kind of hectic. I have a lot of friends in law enforcement and the military. And of course, they are staged. They're talking about the National Guard in D.C. for the inauguration already. There were a couple issues today. The FBI tweeted out today that there were bomb threats that turned out to be tied to Russian bots at polling stations in the United States. And so that was an issue today, but the FBI sent out a bunch of social media messages saying polling places are safe, it's fine. They turned out to be Russian bot accounts that were initiating bomb threats at polling places, which is kind of crazy. And then there was the guy that tried to get into the visitor center at the Capitol building today, like covered in gasoline with a torch and a bunch of papers. He said he was a 28-year-old white guy from Michigan, I believe. And he said he had a bunch of papers that he wanted to bring to Congress. So I'm assuming that mentally, will you stop throwing your beer on the floor? That mentally maybe he had some problems. I didn't think being covered with gasoline with a torch trying to bring Congress papers on election day was something that normal, rational people would do. But we live in 2024 and 2024 is going to do what 2024 does. Hey, what are you guys doing? Are you guys drunk already? This is what it's like. Bish says, I hope the MCAS test gets eliminated. Let's see. Denise says, hope you're feeling better, Carrie. Yeah. So, I was pretty laid up over the weekend. Just was not feeling well at all and spent most of the weekend on the couch with these two snuggling. I mean, this is how it is all the time around here. So I'll just leave the pug cam on. But I am feeling better. Michelle Fox says there was a fake active shooter call to my nephew's school in Maine today. Rachel says, just finished working election day. I'm waiting for all the totals in town. Jessica says, hey, Mistress Carrie, sorry I'm late. All good. Tracy says, hello, peeps. Rachel says, I need an effing drink. So I do know some election workers. I only heard one issue from an election worker today, and it was someone that had to be told that they were wearing something inappropriate inside a polling station, and they didn't like being told that. These laws have been around forever. It's why people holding election signs can't be on the premises of the polling station. They have to be across the street, whatever. You're not allowed to wear anything that could sway anything or make political statements inside a polling station. But that was the only thing that I had heard, was just one person that wasn't happy that they were told they had to change an article of clothing in order to be able to go into a polling station. Lisa says, I do mail voting because I never know if I'm going to be working late. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I subscribe to the idea that it should be a federal holiday and that the polls should be open for 24 straight hours, because there are a lot of people that work 12-hour shifts and it makes it really hard for them to vote in person. I'm glad that the mail-in voting is there for those people. But then there's also all of these court cases where they are trying not to count ballots if they arrived in the mail late. On the West Coast, there were mail-in drop-off ballot boxes that were set on fire, which, by the way, if you're caught doing something like that should be life in prison, as far as I'm concerned. If you're going to burn people's votes, to me, there is not a bigger violation of the Constitution than destroying people's votes for an election. So I'm hoping that we're going to get through the next 24 to 48 hours without violence, but I'm not holding out hope that that is going to happen. So I am feeling better, Jessica. Thank you so much. Jessica also wants to know how my mom is doing. Pretty much the same. She's doing okay, so I appreciate it. Voorhees says, tough to find enough polling staff to keep the polls open for 24 hours. In my town, those people are all volunteers and retirees. So I think that's one of the things as well, is that I think there should be significant background checks on anybody that is going to be working an election. And I think they should be paid well. I think that elections are, in the United States, we spend money on a lot of dumb things. I think each state, if you really went through the budget, that you could find the money to pay election workers, not only for the job that they do, but the training they have to go through, the stress of it all recently. It used to be a job that, just a bunch of little old ladies used to do because they were looking for something to do. And every 4 years now, with the rhetoric that is being ticked up, those election workers are so important. And I think, that adage, you get what you pay for, I don't see any reason why election workers aren't going to be paid well. I don't understand that. So you guys remember that movie Dave with Kevin Kline? And he's like the lookalike to the president, and he gets his accounting buddy to go through the U.S. budget, and he finds all of the waste. I'm sure there's waste that we can find in there to pay election workers well. Dyeing my hair to distract myself. So glad you decided to go live tonight, says Donna. So I will tell you guys that there is not going to be War Room next week because I'm going to be at the Theory of a Dead Man Unplugged show with Saint Asonia and Corey Marks. Corey Marks was on the podcast recently. We talked a lot about it. I want to go and see him play solo acoustic. I want to go see Adam Gontier with Saint Asonia now that he's back in 3 Days Grace. So I want to sit Adam down and work out getting him back on the podcast. And I am such a huge fan of Theory of a Dead Man Unplugged. I go back and forth between whether Theory is better plugged in or unplugged. I've seen them play unplugged so many times on my show in the studio, and I am such a huge fan of acoustic Theory of a Dead Man that I am going to the show next Tuesday. So there will be no War Room next week. Just want to make sure I got that out there. Let's see. Ronald says mass spending money on illegal citizens. Well, illegal citizens isn't a thing. If they're illegal, they're not citizens. So that's not proper verbiage, Ronald. And second of all, there's plenty of waste in every state around the country that we could go through, not just Massachusetts, but every state, I'm sure, pays for something that they could get rid of to pay election workers. Hello, Dina. Carol says Patreon. Yeah, I believe we're going to do it this Sunday. Carol, we're gonna do it this Sunday at 7:30. I'll talk about that coming up. Michelle says, MC, did you get my email? I don't think I did, Michelle. Rachel says poll workers' wages come out of the town budget in most places. It depends on the town. In some cases, it would take raising taxes to pay us well, and most people don't want that. Well, that's where I think that the system could use some tweaking, is that obviously there are local elections, but I think anytime you're talking about federal elections, then I think that money should not be reliant on raising town taxes to pay workers to make sure that we're staffed for a federal election. If it's a federal election, then the money needs to come from the federal government. And I'm sure the federal government can find the money somewhere. So, but that's really interesting, Rachel. I didn't know that's where the money came from. So I appreciate the education on that because I was not aware. Tracy says, so far I have eaten pepperoni pizza, onion rings, Pepsi, cookies and milk, anxiety and heartburn. Yeah, I think the United States right now needs to find a way to de-stress. Like we need to do like national yoga or something because it has just gotten to the point where I don't think the rhetoric can get worse without it getting really dangerous. And that scares me a lot because I think regardless of who wins, whatever party takes the White House, whatever party takes Congress, if they don't on day one crank down the rhetoric, I think that is a very dangerous thing. And I think at that point, some serious overhauls need to happen. Whoever is going to be in charge of this country and sit in the Oval Office, the continuation of turning American against American, that is not part of the job. I think as a candidate, that is the job, is to try and win the election, right? But as soon as you become the office, you represent everybody, even the people that hate you. And if the rhetoric doesn't stop, I fear for how dangerous the country could become. And that is not America. You know, I am such a huge believer in the Constitution, a believer in the system that can amend the Constitution when necessary. But I am such a patriotic person and grew up with the idea that Americans could work out problems, that we were problem solvers, that we heard all the stories about our grandparents going through the war. And I just think that whatever the results are of this election, if it doesn't get ratcheted down, it's just dangerous. Wednesday, Christina says Wednesday is over it. What color are you dyeing your hair? Jessica wants to know. Everybody needs to burn some sage and chant to the goddesses, says Stacy. I think Friday is just, Wednesday and Friday wants cookies and belly rubs. I mean, Wednesday is just kind of sitting there like slumped over a pillow. But this is what Friday does. She is a complete psychopath, and then she unplugs herself and is completely unconscious. Eric says, watching Ghost Ship, and I'm at the end when you see the bars of gold going on the ship. Yeah, and Juliana Margulies freaks out. So I watched Ghost Ship during COVID. I binged the whole show. I told you guys all about that I was just binging all of these movies about plagues and zombies and just horrible things. And Ghost Ship, plus McSteamy was in it. So I really liked that show. I thought it was really interesting. So we're supposed to be together, not divided. Yeah. And unfortunately, togetherness requires compromise. And I think right now, neither side even knows how to spell compromise anymore. And I think it's going to get to the point where, and we're really close to getting there. And I think the two major parties, I think it's going to take a really charismatic centrist that is, the fringes of both parties have gotten to the point where they have wound up the extremes of both parties to the point where there are so many disenfranchised people in the middle that I think if the two major parties in this country aren't careful, they are going to have very fertile ground for a third party to come in and tell both of them to go fuck themselves. And we're getting really close to that. If there is violence, if Americans start turning against Americans more than they already are, especially violently, if we see an incident with the National Guard having to fire on American citizens over the next couple of months, like something like that, there's just the inauguration, between now and the inauguration, the responsibility of the person or people that get elected needs to be to ratchet everything down, because there are a lot of really scared people in the United States right now on both sides. I think some of those fears are legitimate and other of those fears are fed by propaganda to get people motivated to vote. But I am starting to not recognize the country that I love so much, and that's really starting to piss me off. So let me see. You want D's and R's to agree? Talk about a third political party. They'll both agree instantly, and a third party is a bad idea. Well, Voorhees, that's the thing. Right now, what we have is a bad idea. We have got two parties that do not want to give an inch to the other party, and they are not working for most of America who is in the middle. That's bad. That's not how the system is supposed to work. And a third party that's, willing to listen to both sides, I understand how it would upend everything, but I think we can all agree that there are things in our system. There are a lot of things in our system that need to change. And unfortunately, those things in our system that need to change benefit the people that run the system and make the decisions on whether or not they're going to change. I think we can all agree that having money funneled into campaigns and you don't know where the money's coming from, that's not good. The idea that corporations are tax-paying American people and that corporate money is almost unlimited flowing into campaigns, that's not good. Like, I have no problem telling corporations that they cannot, you want to donate money, you can donate what the average American can donate. And a campaign, that's look at the amount of money that was spent on this election. Total it up. It's billions and billions of dollars. And then think about all of the problems in the United States that could have been fixed with that money. It's insane to me. So, I just hope, I am still hopeful that our problems can be solved, but I am starting to not be as optimistic as I used to be. And I don't like feeling that way because we have spent so much time. I know that there are people here in the war room that don't agree with me. I know that there are people in the war room that don't agree with each other, but we've always had the ability to sit down and talk about things and fix things. And it has gotten to the point now where the insults and the disrespect and the not following protocol and breaking the laws in some cases and trying to keep people's votes from counting, and I don't know about you guys. I have always been active when it comes to causes that meant a lot to me. You guys know that I work so much with veterans, and I have become and always have been, especially when it comes to advocating for benefits for our veterans. I have always been very active in that way. And I think older people, people older than 50 or 55 need to really pay attention to what younger generations are growing up experiencing. Decades of war, pandemic, watching our political system play out the way that it is. Younger people are way more politically active than I think a lot of people of my generation and older were. And there are so many people that are so worried about staying in power more than they are worried about actually taking care of the people that they have power over. And I think what's happening is, remember that old quote about, I'm afraid we have awoken the sleeping giant from World War II after Pearl Harbor? I think there are a lot of people that are going to become way more politically active at a local, at a state, at a federal level that haven't been that way before. And I think that's a really good thing. But I, for one, am someone that thought I was always pretty politically active, but I am not anywhere near as politically active as I plan to be. in the future. So I just hope that some good things are in our future, because I don't think we can handle too much more negative stuff. I wonder what the stress of all of this is doing to the health of the average American. I wonder what the stress of all of this is doing to kids that are growing up right now, that feel completely disenfranchised, that are growing up not patriotic at all because they're really understanding how the system works. They have access to so much information, and they really don't think that older people care about what they care about. And there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on. Bish says the scary thing is Gen Z kids are being influenced by what they see on TikTok. Well, see, Bish, I don't think that's a bad thing in some cases. TikTok is like everything else. You can be influenced by bad things on network television. You can be influenced by bad things online. You can be influenced by bad things on cable news, on apps. There are a lot of really good things that happen on social media apps as well. People have solved crimes, missing people. People have done really horrible things and didn't think they'd get caught. But because, there are so many people on TikTok that are like, hey, I have a big audience. Even the guys from Breaking Benjamin. I was just talking about this on the air today. Somebody was at a Breaking Benjamin show, and I don't know if they tossed out beach balls or something, and some douchebag ripped a beach ball out of the hand of a kid and ripped the beach ball apart. And the kid was like super sad because they were so excited that they caught one, but somebody happened to get it on video. And they sent it to some of those social media influencers. Like, does anybody know who this asshole is? The guys from Breaking Benjamin posted the video, because it's like, it is kind of the great equalizer, right? That if you're going to be a dick on either side, if you're going to be an asshole, you need to be prepared that your assholeness is going to be seen on video and spread around the internet, and that you're going to have to pay a price for being a dick. Whatever that social price is, whether you get charged with a crime, whether you just become the laughingstock of the internet for a hot minute, whether you're embarrassed, whether you get, you lose your job. I think so many people have found this false sense of security that the internet gives them complete anonymity to do whatever they want. And while apps like TikTok and Instagram, who recently has taken a lot of steps to try and protect kids, there are a lot of really good things that people learn and information. Have you guys learned a hack or 12 about how to fix something, clean something because of TikTok? I know I have. So it's not all bad. The problem is that bad information finds a way to get out, whether it be tabloid print journalism, whether it be bad TV, whatever it is, bad actors find a way to be bad actors. So I'm not going to blame Gen Z and TikTok, because there's a lot of really good things that have come out of that too. And every generation gets blamed by the older generations for being idiots and succumbing to whatever the new technology is. Whether it be Atari or PlayStations or cell phones or like whatever it is, every generation has had the older generation go, oh, those damn kids. Unfortunately, we're all becoming the older generation now, and we are the old people yelling for the kids to get off the lawn now. So, growing up a kid these days, the world is not the same world that we grew up in, for better or worse. In some ways it's better, some ways it's worse. But there are a lot of really amazing things. It would have been really nice to write all of my college papers and to be able to research them on the internet, because I didn't have that when I was in college. So there you go. The spammers that are in here, you're not welcome here. So feel free to report the spammers that are in the comments section right now. Parents need to be involved. Well, the parents need to be involved all the time. Parents needed to be involved when latchkey kids were a thing in the 80s. They needed to be involved. But yeah, when it comes to the internet and stuff, especially with minors, they obviously need to be involved, and there need to be protections there for that stuff. 100%. Yeah, there's a spammer bot in the chat. Eric, you guys can gang up on him and report him and get him kicked out of there. I appreciate you letting me know. You see this right here? All right, we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, everything going on with the election right now. It's going to be a long night. They're saying we might not even know tonight. They're counting a ton of ballots. I'm happy that voter turnout was so high. So if you went out and voted today, if you haven't voted in a while, thank you for being motivated enough to go and cast a ballot. And I hope you continue to do that. I hate the fact that these elections need to be so contentious to actually get people motivated to vote. There are countries where people would give anything for the right to play a part in determining their future. In this country, so much blood has been shed protecting that right to vote. And it really bothers me when people don't respect what a serious thing, what a right, what an honor that is to be able to do that. And if you're disenfranchised and you don't believe that your vote counts, there are ways for you to do that too, to get motivated behind that. But just try to stay positive. I know it's hard, but try to stay positive. Okay, I want to remind you guys, especially if you have not seen the show before, that there are a ton of places that you can listen to me on the radio, including 98 Rock in Charleston. You can hear me every weekday from 10 to 3. 98 Rock has got Hailstorms Lizzie and Joe coming on the living room sessions. So there's lots of great stuff going on. You can download the app and you can listen online at my98rock.com. That's a mix of like classic and newer rock. And that's during the day. If you like your rock a little more on the classic side, you can listen to me from 3 to 7 every weekday afternoon on 100 FM The Pike in Massachusetts. You can go to pikefm.com, download the Pike app, and listen that way. And if you like your rock a little newer and a little heavier, then you can listen to me every weekday from 3 to 7 on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine. Go to 1063thebone.com, download the Bone app. December 11th, we have got Deck the Halls with Daughtry coming to the State Theater in Portland with Sleep Theory and Devour the Day. Those tickets are on sale now. And I got to let you guys know that the Grunge Brunch is almost sold out. There are less than 20 tickets available for the first Mistress Carrie Grunge Brunch at City Winery in Boston on Saturday, November 16th. So it's not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. But this is going to be sold out, I think, by this weekend. So if you really want to go, it's going to be the Alice in Chains Unplugged set performed by Rotten Apple. There is cocktails, there's charcuterie. It's at City Winery Boston, which is right downtown in between the TD Garden and the North End. It's centrally located. Hopefully the weather's going to be nice, so you'll be motivated to go walk around Boston. Doors open at 11. Music starts at noon. Tickets are still available, but they're running out. So go to the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com and get your tickets for the Grunge Brunch. Let me see. I did not prepare a cocktail recipe tonight. I apologize. We got to bring the cocktails back, so we'll do that again next week. Podcast recap. Last week, Sendog from Cypress Hill and his band Power Flow were on the podcast. Sendog is such an interesting character. He is such an interesting guy. He is somebody that is just full of contradictions. He talked about growing up being the only kid in his neighborhood that liked heavy metal music and hardcore music. He got a role in Sons of Anarchy because he wanted to skip out on California traffic, and he rode his Harley to meet with his agent. He obviously has been a member of Cypress Hill for decades. He's got his new band, Power Flow, with members of Fear Factory and Biohazard. The new album, Guerrilla Warfare, just came out last Friday. And I was really surprised when Sendog talked about the success of Cypress Hill. And it's something that I talked to Duff McKagan about on the bonus episode as well, how influential the city of Boston was in making their career. He said that at one point, Boston was selling more Cypress Hill records than any other city in the country by far, which I was really kind of surprised about. So it was really interesting getting to talk to Sendog. He's super cool. I also thought it was really interesting that he said they are scheduling more Cypress Hill with symphony orchestra dates for next year. If you guys didn't see that they performed with the London Symphony Orchestra and they wore suits and they had the whole symphony, and the video footage that I saw was amazing. And so the fact that they are going to be scheduling more shows with symphonies next year, I reminded him Boston has a great symphony and we would love to see that show. So I really hope that tour happens. They reportedly recorded the show in London and they're going to be releasing it as like a concert film, I guess, which I cannot wait to see because the footage that I did see from the London show was amazing. Elsa, stop making jokes about the bone, you pervert. Keith says, just slept for 4 hours. Not sure if I am getting sick or just exhausted. Keith, it's a stress thing too. We were talking about it earlier. Like, people in America are stressed right now, and that stress is coming out in a lot of different ways. I know for myself, it comes out as anger. It comes out as being fatigued and completely overtired. And so there is just a lot of that kind of feeling. So you're not alone. You could be coming down with something too. The temperatures have gone from 25 degrees at night to 80 degrees during the day. This is the time that people get sick. So it could be a little bit of everything. Any news on Creed other than what's going on right now, that they are out on the road, the Are You Ready tour with Three Doors Down and Mammoth WVH. The only New England show is in Bangor, Maine at the end of this month. The Creed reunion is permanent, that the band has already said that they're going to work on all of their other projects, their side projects around Creed. The Creed Summer of 99 and Beyond cruise is already on sale for next April. So Creed's not going anywhere. Let's see. Bish says, I went on a 5-mile run this afternoon, and after I confronted the asshole who raped me in high school, so I've had a day. Whoa. Bish, that is a day. Do I congratulate you for confronting the asshole? Because if that's the proper response, you're a fucking badass. Trina says, felt appreciated tonight. It comes out as the bone, says Tom. Why would we ever behave? That is no fun, says Rachel. I know. I know you guys aren't going to behave, no matter how much I try to act serious that I expect you to. I know you're not going to. Betty says, I slept all day freezing, then sweating. After a beautiful day, I was down. Yeah, there's just a lot of people are feeling, the season change and the time change too. Like it getting dark at like 4:15 in the afternoon. Like, can we really get rid of the daylight savings thing? Like, I know it's hard for people to get up really early in the morning to get up in the dark, but it getting dark at like 4 p.m, man, it just sucks. It just sucks. Okay, so that was last week's podcast episode 230, featuring Sendog from Cypress Hill and Power Flow. And at the end of the week, I released a quick bonus episode with Duff McKagan, who I talked to on Halloween, talking about the candy that he gives out, the Lighthouse tour that was at the Paradise Rock Club in Boston last night, talking about some of the old music that he dug out of some vaults with Slash for this album. We talked about his writing relationship with Slash and Jerry Cantrell. So that bonus episode is available now. And this week's podcast episode that comes out tomorrow is something a little different. So I got an email that was like, hey, Mistress Carrie, I know that you are always looking for new artists. Would you be willing to have Ginny Luke on the show? And I was like, yeah, send me all of her stuff. I want to, obviously read up on her a little bit. And she is a heavy metal violinist, like an electric violinist. She plays rock music. She plays heavy metal music. She has played with everyone from Meatloaf to the Foo Fighters. She does country music stuff. And she just came out with her new solo album this past Friday called Devil at My Heels. And she is classically trained. She has been playing the violin since she was 3 years old. She is the daughter of a veteran. So she grew up on military bases, which is something we talked about in the episode. And it's just she's classically trained and kind of a savant. She's somebody that when people need a violinist, no matter the genre of music, she is that short list. And now she's starting to kind of come out as a solo artist and writing her own songs, but she plays electric violin and it's shredding. It's amazing. So, that's one of the things that I love about the podcast is that I could talk to Sendog from Cypress Hill. I could talk to Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses and then introduce you to a new artist like Ginny Luke. So episode 231 of the podcast comes out at midnight tonight. And Tom says daylight savings sucks, the big one and the small one. Yeah, I get it. Annette says she sounds badass. She really is. And when it comes, like, when I talk about classically trained, I mean like top tier classical musician, like symphony level, holding degrees, is an instructor. She is a professor of music at USC. Like, this woman's resume, as soon as I started reading up on her, I was like, holy shit. And she's so cool. So I was really excited that she agreed to come on the show. So this goes live at midnight tonight. It's definitely a little different. I told her that, there are probably 3 instruments that parents live in fear that their kids are going to want to learn how to play: the drums, the bagpipes, and the violin, because the learning curve is so painful. And she talked about how all of the kids in her family were required to learn instruments and that they play piano. And she picked up the violin. Obviously, she's amazing at it. So I'm really excited for you guys to check out her music and also to hear this episode of the podcast, which goes live at midnight tonight. Just as a reminder that if you subscribe to the podcast, the full-length episodes come out on Wednesdays. Bonus episodes come out. You never know. Duff's episode came out on Friday. A lot of people weren't expecting that, but you get the bonus episodes. And you also get the Sit Rep Monday through Friday. It's around 5 minutes long. Rock news, music headlines, entertainment updates. It's a little bit of everything. Movies, streaming shows, album places you can check out the Mistress Carrie podcast. There are a ton of places, all of the major podcast apps, podcast websites. You can listen to all of my episodes on YouTube, but you can always just go to mistresscarrie.com. Just find the episode you want to listen to, click play, and you're good to go. So classically trained. So Charlie Daniels, Devil Went Down to Georgia. No, like she could play in a symphony, playing like Bach and Beethoven, and then shred Charlie Daniels and a little bit of everything. Like she's, if music is in fact a language, she is fluent. I'll put it to you that way. 149 countries listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast and counting. If you're celebrating your birthday today on National Donut Day, also, of course, it's election day in the U.S. You're sharing your birthday with Jonathan Greenwood from Radiohead, with Bryan Adams, with Graham Parsons, Art Garfunkel, Ike Turner, and Roy Rogers. So happy birthday and happy unbirthday, Keith. Oh, Tom says, hey, what the fuck? No Moscow Mule? Well, I didn't pour the ginger beer. There it is right there. I was so busy trying to make sure that the dogs were behaving that I didn't make my cocktail. But don't worry, I have it right here. Hold on. Tom, would you think the wheels are falling off the wagon? You think I was going to make it through election night without having a drink? You know me better than that, Tom. Tom wants to know, hey, Carrie, when's the next get-together party? Well, the Grunge Brunch is happening November 16th. There are some rumors that because it's selling so well that we might turn this into a more common thing with different bands. So we'll see how that goes. But I am working on some other promotional opportunities and some other events as well. So Bish says, someone have a drink for me tonight. Bish, I got you. Melissa says, happy unbirthday, Keith. Happy sleep 4 hours, naked unbirthday, Keith. Keith in his pants. It's a thing. 295 episodes in and it's still a thing. I wanted to tell you guys this. Expect a massive Papa Roach announcement coming very, very soon. We know that next year is their 25th anniversary of their debut album, Infest. We know that there are a lot of plans, and you can expect a Papa Roach announcement coming very, very soon. Also, Linkin Park is releasing their new album, From Zero, on the 15th, but they announced that they're partnering with independent record stores around the country to do From Zero listening parties in 100 record stores this coming Saturday, November 9th. Now, there are no record stores that are participating in Massachusetts, but there are some in New Hampshire. There are a ton of them in Maine. There are some in Connecticut. You can go to Linkin Park's website and find a record store. Basically, they wanted to get Linkin Park fans together to hear the whole album before it gets released on the 15th. So that is happening this Saturday. The other thing that I wanted to mention to you guys that I forgot to put up here, all this week, David Gilmour is playing shows at Madison Square Garden. And he sold out like 6 nights at Madison Square Garden or something. But Thursday night on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, David Gilmour from Pink Floyd is performing on US TV for the first time in 8 years. He's going to be performing a song off of his solo album, Luck and Strange. So you can see David Gilmour on The Tonight Show coming up this Thursday night. I want to make sure that I told you guys that too. Okay, I want to remind you guys about a bunch of the shows that have already gotten announced for next year, including Disturbed's 25th anniversary Sickness Tour with 3 Days Grace with Adam Gontier and Sevendust on March 14th. Those tickets are on sale. The Deftones tickets are already on sale as well for April 8th. The Ghost tickets are already on sale as well. And a lot of people are talking about this show because it is going to be a phone-free experience. There is this new technology. I was checking it out online. And you go into the show and it's a pouch that has this magnetic clasp that almost looks like the security tags on clothes in a store. And when you're getting checked out, they put it in a magnet and the sensors come off. This pouch kind of closes magnetically. So when you go into the arena, your phone gets locked. And then when you go out of the arena into the concourse, then you can go over to a machine and unlock your phone, but they don't want people using their phones inside the arena. The band has come out and said that it has completely changed the experience of a concert. And Ghost is a thing unto itself if you've never seen them. But I'm really curious how this technology, they're not the first ones to use it. And a lot of artists are starting to gravitate towards having some kind of restrictions, because we've all been behind the person that's up like this, with their cell phone and it's blocking your view. And I've been guilty of it too, where I've always wanted to take pictures while I was at a show. Although I never am that person that just videotapes the whole show like that. I don't understand. It's like videoing all of the fireworks on the 4th of July. Like, who's watching that video after? I think there's a difference between taking some photos just for the memory and experiencing the entire show through the technology. And so it's interesting that bands are starting to take these steps. So I'm very curious how this technology is going to work and to see how people respond to it. Iron Maiden is going to be at the DCU Center tomorrow night. If you're going to see Maiden, make sure you get there early, because the Mongolian folk band The Who are going to be opening up the show. They've been on the podcast in the past. They use traditional Mongolian folk instruments, but they're plugged in and like heavy metal Mongolian folk instruments. And they're amazing. So if you haven't seen them yet, you got to go and experience them. So make sure you get to Iron Maiden early tomorrow night at the DCU Center. I don't know if there are tickets still available. I thought the show was sold out, but you may want to check. Sometimes they release last minute tickets. Coming up at Big Night Live, this is happening this weekend. The Marvelous 3 and Lit are going to be at Big Night Live in Boston. Xfinity Center shows, these announcements are coming soon. Like within the next week or two, we're going to start getting shows announced for all of the outdoor venues for 2025. Expect next year to be a very, very busy touring year. Not only the indoor venues, but outdoor venues as well. Kerry King is going to be at Royale in February. The Hailstorm Living Room Session shows, MGM Springfield, that show is on sale right now. Billy Gibbons at the Cabot Theater in Beverly in February. That's on sale. Dream Theater's 40th anniversary and their reunion with Mike Portnoy. That tour is hitting the Wang in March. Heart has announced opening acts for their Royal Flush tour, including Squeeze and Cheap Trick, but they have not announced who is going to be opening up for them at the Agganis Arena in Boston yet. Weird Al is going on tour next summer. That is going to be amazing. Coldplay, 2 shows at Gillette. Did you guys see the footage of Chris Martin? There was like a trap door in the stage and he was walking backwards and his crew that was like under the stage saw that he wasn't paying attention and he fell through a hole in the stage, but they caught him. Spinal Tap moment. You can see the footage online. It's kind of hilarious. Let's see. Leader Bank Pavilion. We don't have shows announced yet, but again, the outdoor venues are going to start releasing their concert calendars for next year. Mark Bish says, I am guilty of recording fireworks. Christine says, The Who are awesome. Tom says, hello. Is there anybody out there? Yes, we're all here. Any news from the Five Finger Death Punch camp about the new music that they're working on? No, we know they're working on new music, but we don't have news on that yet. We did get confirmation from Fred Durst that Limp Bizkit is in the studio, which is kind of interesting. John Otto was recording drum tracks for the band in the studio over the weekend, and so that kind of tipped everybody off. So, are you okay? She just came over and started clawing at me that she wants a little love. Do you want to say hi to everyone? Huh? Did you just want to say hi to everyone? Oh, no, you just want to kick me in the face. Okay, that's good. Let me see. Oh, now Friday. You want to say hi to everyone? What are you doing? Can you say hi? You want to just hang out with your sister? You woke up from your little power nap, did you? More shows are getting announced at Roadrunner as well. So you can expect a lot of shows getting announced. Trivium and Bullet for My Valentine at the MGM Music Hall coming up in May of next year. And the postponed Queens of the Stone Age shows from September postponed to June of next year. Jessica says, hi, Wednesday, you cutie. Yes, kids. Apparently Limp Bizkit is still a thing. Oh, they're still a thing. They played the Xfinity Center this year. They are still a thing. House of Blues, Theory of a Dead Man Unplugged next Tuesday. Steel Panther on the 23rd. Jerry Cantrell, the I Want Blood Tour with Filter at the House of Blues on February 4th. That show is already on sale as well. Jerry Cantrell is also going to be in Portland, Maine at Aura. Those tickets are on sale. Guar is at the Paradise Rock Club tonight. Yes, Guar is still a thing as well. City Winery Boston, of course, we were talking about the Grunge Brunch with Rotten Apple coming up next Saturday night, the 16th. Tickets are low. So if you definitely want to go to the Grunge Brunch, you have got to get your tickets sooner than later. They will be completely sold out before the day of the show. New releases coming out on Friday. Neil Young, On the Beach, the 50th anniversary edition. Primal Scream releasing Come Ahead. The new Skillet album, Revolution. Steve Perry from Journey releasing another holiday album called The Season 3. The Talking Heads releasing Talking Heads 77, the Super Deluxe Edition. The Tragically Hip releasing Up to Here, the box set. And the Violent Femmes releasing Hallowed Ground, the vinyl reissue. Those are all coming out this Friday. Eric says, we are still dog sitting tonight My best puppy buddy, Sterling, is a 12-year-old. Hold on. A 12-year-old good who does the cutest moan when he stretches. I don't know what a 12-year-old good is. Is it a poodle? Is it a golden doodle? I'm assuming you got auto-corrected. Richard Patrick has an amazing singing voice, Jessica. I agree. Let's see. Oh, golden retriever. I thought it was something like that. You just got auto-corrected. Neil Young is 78 and he is still releasing stuff, says Voorhees. He's one of those guys like Prince too, where I bet he's got more music in the vault than he's even released. I bet Eddie Van Halen's vault is kind of like that too. That is just, there's just this treasure trove of stuff. Some of it that just probably, or most of it, that's just never going to see the light of day. Mail call this week. I got to thank Denise for sending me a Halloween card. Seriously, I don't know where you guys find this stuff, but it's freaking hilarious. It says, "Holy sheet, happy Halloween" inside. Where do you find these things? You guys know it's my favorite day of the year, so thank you. Let's see. Golden Retriever. Yep, another fucking bot here. You guys can report the bot. I will block them when the show's over. Trust me. Let's see. Backstage pass holders, you were asking earlier, we are going to do our exclusive monthly live stream this Sunday night, November 10th. Yes, I know it's the Marine Corps birthday. I thought it was a great time to get together. And we're going to do that at 7:30 this Sunday night. So I'll be able to fill you guys in on plans for the end of the year, upcoming podcast episodes, some holiday merch questions answered. It'll be like a week before the Grunge Brunch. And there are some other things that I want to talk to you guys about as well. So we're going to do it this Sunday. I'll put up a post on Patreon. If you don't have a backstage pass, you don't know what I'm talking about, go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie or click the Patreon link at mistresscarrie.com. You can submit podcast interview questions. You get travel blog updates, early access to event tickets, exclusive concert ticket giveaways, which I will have some for you, merch discount code. So it's a little bit of everything. So if you don't have a Mistress Carrie backstage pass, you can definitely get one. And just a reminder about all of the different places you can find me, the radio stations that I'm on every day, download all of the apps, listen from anywhere, all the social media links. All of this is up at mistresscarrie.com. And because next week is the Marine Corps birthday, this weekend, and Veterans Day, I want to remind you guys about the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock Group on Facebook. So if you are a veteran, if you are married to a veteran, if you have got veterans in the family, if you have got veterans as coworkers, if you work for a veteran-owned company, or if you're just someone that is looking to try and get involved in your community, we were talking about it at the beginning of the show that there are a lot of really disenfranchised people right now that are trying to find a way to stay connected with their patriotism, that they want to do some positive things in the country. Getting involved with our veterans community is a really great way to do that. And the Veterans Rock Group on Facebook is a way to share information, resources, details on nonprofits that benefit veterans, events that fund those nonprofits that benefit veterans. It's also a place to ask questions, veteran to veteran, civilian to civilian. If you love a veteran and you think they need help or you need help, job searches. Veterans Day is a great day to seek out veteran-owned businesses. And if you are a veteran and you have a veteran-owned business, this is a great place for you to go and let people know about it. If you are hiring and you would love to hire veterans, this is a great place to post job openings. So if you have not joined the Veterans Rock Group on Facebook, please go on Facebook. This is a public group. We try really hard to monitor the group. I know sometimes the spam and the bots can be a little much, but really, you two? But it's a great place for all the resources. Bish says, "Hey, Carrie, any news on the knit hats from the last episode?" Nothing yet. I'm working on it, but no, nothing yet. Finding reflective material and finding there's so much cheap stuff out there. And I really try not to make that stuff and to order that stuff. So I'm always asking for samples. I'm always trying to, find the best quality stuff. So the reflective knit caps that you're talking about, I really want to make them. I just haven't been able to find the right ones yet. So I will let you know. Let's see. Bish says he's running the Disabled Veterans 5K at Castle Island this weekend. Well, there you go. If you're trying to raise money, post on the Veterans Rock Facebook page. Donna says Ocean State is doing their Coats for Vets program. Buy a coat for $40 and get crazy deals and cards for $40. So yeah, there you go. There's a perfect example of something that the Veterans Rock group needs to know about. Make sure that gets posted. Share the information. Jonathan says, all right, War Room, time for bed for me. Have a great night and be safe. Good night, Jonathan. So make sure you are sharing the information about the Veterans Rock Group. Obviously, happy birthday to all of the Marines out there, especially mine, Mr. C, but all of the Marines celebrating their birthday. They really are passionate about celebrating their birthday. Trust me. And of course, happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans. Thank you so much for everything that you do for us every day. Everything that you have done for us in your service. There is a reason why we have a day dedicated to celebrate you and your achievements and your accomplishments, because you have earned that from us, and we are very grateful. A reminder on the differences: there is Armed Forces Day, which celebrates everyone serving. There is Memorial Day that remembers and commemorates the sacrifice made by those who paid the ultimate price while serving in uniform. And then Veterans Day celebrates anyone who's ever worn the uniform. And our veterans community is a resource that is such a huge part of our community and have so many things to offer. And so Monday is your day. So happy Veterans Day to all of the veterans. Happy birthday to the Marines. Don't forget, no War Room next week. I will be at Theory of a Dead Man. So if you're going to be there, I will see you guys there. Keith says, still waiting for the MC man thongs. You're going to be waiting for a while on those, Keith. So I hate to tell you, but you're going to be waiting for a while on those. All right, guys. The next few days are probably going to be really hard. Try to stay positive. Know that we're going to get through this no matter what. So just whatever happens, we just got to figure it out. And we got to do a better job of doing it together, because what we're doing right now is just not working the best. So I will see you guys later. Good night, everybody. Peace out. Much love, says Melissa. Give Mr. C a big hug from all of us. Semper Fi. Will do. Absolutely. Hold on. I'll let you guys say good night so you can see what's happening at this very moment. Girls, do you want to say good night? You see what I'm dealing with right now? This is what happens. And then you guys wonder why I lose my train of thought. You wonder why in the middle of a sentence I'm like, oh, what was I saying? It's because this is happening next to me. Wednesday's kind of holding it and Friday is just kind of gnawing on it. But this is every second of every day around here now. So guys, can you say goodnight to everyone? Can you say thank you for hanging out in the War Room with us? Say goodnight. When all else fails, hug the pug. Just hug the pug. Good night, guys.